This is the fork legs. They're part of a complete front end that I bought online. It's time to rebuild these things and go through them from start to finish. What I like most or best about these is the chrome on the tubes is really nice. The top, the triple clamps had some beautiful hardware, and I have an extra set of triples as well as another set of forks, but as we go down to the bottom, it appears that this thing may have just been sitting on Mother Earth looking at some of this stuff. I was poking around on the one on the left here looking for the Allen head, and you can't even see it in there. It's there, but if you look at this one here, look at how much debris is coming out of that. I'm going to run 6 ounces per leg, and if any of you Elsinore guys know, I don't know. I don't pretend to know it. I know a lot of guys do. If you know anything about the fork oil, or if you say you find something you're not favorable with, please leave me a comment and I will deal with it, because I'm not afraid to take a pair of forks apart. So that's our intro, and let's get on these forks. Take a wire brush to it, see what we can do. Hey, look at that. That one is going to be a good time. Okay, now we're going to soak the ends of this with PB Blaster here. And this is, I'm going to let this sit overnight. And there we have it. For these dust boots, rather. Typical clip style O-ring clip. This one actually responds well. No, it's leaking. It's leaking as well. Yeah, see the ring. See what runs out of this. Ooh, yeah, it's rough. Real rough. That one's somewhat better, but so I cleaned the top of the fork tube with acetone, and then I wrapped 2 wraps of this really good 3M adhesive I have because I don't have my vise set up and I was being lazy, and tapped an offset pipe wrench in there, and she came right out, and boy did she come out, because I've got fork oil everywhere. It's a stack spring. This is the upper and this is the lower. It has this washer in between thus far. Don't have a manual. If I need to look online, I will, but I don't think I will need to. And that's where we stand. I'm in the process of getting these things apart. Like butter, baby. You have to be very careful if you do this. This packaging tape is Sure Tape HP series, and if you put 2 rounds around this and you settle that pipe wrench in there, you can get away with it. Now I know on like Kawasaki big bore bikes you cannot do that. You must use a vise, but these ones that have O-rings in them are not too bad. This one does not want to come out. Upper spring, spacer, lower spring. I wish you guys could smell this one. It's pretty rank. I did take the other one apart off camera. And I did a very, very stupid thing. I grabbed it, if you can see, tore the skin off around my nail. It's very painful. Good way to start the day, but I held it like this and stuck the drill in like an idiot and turned it on, and the thing spun wildly out of control, of course, and did a number to the end of my finger. It doesn't look like much, but boy, it hurts. That was really, really dumb on my part. Not nearly clean enough in there to get the Allen wrench in there yet. Oh, no, it's stripping out. No. May need to set the vise up here. And it's blown up. So now we begin the process of drilling this thing out. It's coming out of there. I've decided today that that's going to happen, and that's the way it's going to go. I could have tried to heat this. I don't know. I mean, you can get heat to the aluminum. It's going to dissipate real quick, but the actual bolt goes in the bottom of this dampening rod assembly, so it's going into steel. So as long as I can at least break it with an easy out, it'll be all right. It's way deep in there. You probably can't see it, but I'm way in there. Maybe we can get a bite with an easy out. I'm not sure. Walked right out of there. My apathy towards mounting a bench vise is gonna be the death of me here if I don't get something done with it. got this modified tool that I made for 1000 cal where you taper a 1/2 inch extension, and I'm putting this in here to see if I can get it to grab the dampening rod enough to be able to get this mess out of here that I've made. Wow, look at that, it worked. By the way, I've done this so many times, I actually have bolts. I have new bolts. I actually guessed this time right the first time, so yeah, that's pretty crazy, but I didn't expect to get this out without a very, very severe fight. But here we are. Yeah, that's in actually good shape. No damage. Good day. Good day. Here we are. Pull a little circlip. This is the nice one. I love these. Little circlip that holds that fork seal in place. Using a torch to remove the seals is always best when you're doing it on a table that's got solvent soaked rags on it and everything else. It's actually pretty clean inside there. I'm surprised. I'm running the little mothers on these tubes. Get a good look at them. I'm thinking they were worth the effort. These are really nice. We'll start the sanding with 220. I'm going to do this dry. We'll see how this goes. Hopefully I don't have to step down. That could be ugly, but I may have to do some filing in that. So let's get this going. an update on these tubes. There is some pitting on the bottoms of these guys that were brutal. So I dropped the 220 and I actually sanded it with 80 grit. This is how bad it was. So I finished sanding it with the 80 grit, and I ran the Dremel in a couple tight places at the base, and I didn't get footage of it, but it doesn't really matter because there's really not a lot to see yet. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bump it up to 100 grit paper, then we'll go to 150, and then 220, and then 600 and 1,000. Okay, we're at the 220 now, and if I show you this leg, you can see all this pitting down here. This was halfway up to here on this it was halfway up the actual tube. This has been, I opened my mouth and said I was going to polish these, and probably should have sanded them, but we're on to 220 now, so we're heading towards the finish line, because what I'll do is I'll do 220, 600, then 1,000, and then I'll polish. If you look at it, you can still see some sanding marks in it. Shouldn't, but I do have a jet polisher that's real fast, so I'm going to keep going with it. So here's where we are. I mean, this front one is nice. It's had 6 rounds of polishing. This one has had 0. This is going to take 12 rounds of polishing. Well, I have one leg polished out, and the other one, I ran several rounds of polish on it. Now I've decided that I'm going to sand them in with 1,000 grit. I just think it's just too tacky. It's too tacky for this Elsinore, and I really like the way it looks, so hopefully they turn out all right. 6 rotations. 4, 5, 6. And then drop down. And as straight as you can possibly get it. Little clear action. Not much. Just a little. Finally, we're ready to assemble these forks. We've got our 10-weight bell ray, fork oil. We've got new seals, we've got tops, we've got dust boots. I changed out, I'm going to go with these fancy Honda bolts that I had in that spec bolt kit. New copper washers, new bottom bolts, copper washers for that. This is what the old fork bolts look like, rusty, crusty. So let's go ahead and put these bad boys together. I think I'm going with 6 ounces on these. I'm not going to ride this thing per se, maybe at Mid-Ohio or something, but you know, there's an argument among guys out there. You have guys that say, you know, go with the fluid ounces, and then guys that go with the compressed 6-inch measurement, if you know what I'm talking about. Meaning that with a compressed fork, after you burp it out, by plunging it up and down and making sure all the air's out of it, the oil should be 6 inches from the top with a measurement. But either way, it doesn't really matter because this is my garage queen, so that's the way we're going to run. Very nice. And very easy. Don't be afraid to do forks, guys. I've done the one already. Let's do the second with 6 ounces. If you go online, it's funny. Guys are like 5.75 ounces, 6.25 ounces, 6 ounces. The numbers are kind of like all over the place, but let's just do the 6 ounces because this is our Beauty Queen rider anyways. So it's just going to be ridden at mid-Ohio or on grass. It's never going to get ridden off-road. So everything's together on the bottom. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. We're going to let that drop in there. All right. Lower spring. Pull up the tube. Washer. Spring. And now it's time for the fun. This getting this nut started is always a good time. See how we do. Wow, that one was easier than the last. The last one was a nightmare. I'm calling that dust boot. And we've got it. Very nice. Very nice action. Hopefully we don't have any leaks. So there we have it, approximately 24 hours later. Well, not 24 hours, 24 work hours.